Hello friends! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to 12 Days of Gabbacado Christmas. I'm so excited to be doing this little series called 12 Days of a Gabbacado Christmas. Starting today, I'm going to be posting a video every single day until Christmas, and I'm very excited. So yeah, this first video is just going to be a little Q&A, just a very chill, very low-key Q&A. I've got my Christmas sweater on. I have some ginger tea in a Christmas mug, and I have this delicious gingerbread cookie. So this is not just going to be a Q&A. This is going to be a little challenge for you guys, and I am challenging you to go get a Christmas cookie or a Christmas treat or something that scares you, and we're gonna eat it together. So get cozy, get some cozy socks on, get some cozy clothes on, get some tea, get some milk, get whatever you want to eat your cookie with, and go get yourself a cookie, and we're gonna eat it together, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a really good time. So cheers. I asked for questions on my Instagram a couple days ago, so I'm just gonna be answering some of those. Okay, so first question is, I didn't know you were in ballet. Were you with a company or feeder school, or was it more of a hobby? So I think a lot of people don't really know my background with ballet at this point because it's not something I talk about much anymore. And the reason I don't really talk about it much anymore is because I'm struggling. So I did ballet my entire life growing up. It was my identity. It was what everyone knew me as. Like, I was just a ballet dancer. I started dancing at age 4. I started taking ballet classes and then continued, and then around age 8, that's when I became like very serious and knew I wanted to do it professionally someday. So I started training like 4 to 10 hours 6 days a week. So it was like my entire life. My junior year of high school, I started doing school online. So I did my last years of high school online so I could dance more and do more private lessons and stuff like that. So I took it very seriously. Ballet was my escape from the world, right? When I was growing up, I started struggling with really like debilitating anxiety in 2nd grade. After my dog passed away in my bed, it just triggered like awful. Like, I'm telling you, I couldn't function. Like, it was to the point where my doctor mentioned to my parents that they might want to send me to a mental hospital. Like, that's how intense my anxiety was at the time. Luckily, I found some medication, got put on medication, saved my life. It allowed me to turn out okay. Ballet was like my escape. Like, I couldn't go anywhere without like screaming and crying and having awful anxiety, except for ballet. That was the one place I could go. It was the one place where I felt free from my mind, from those thoughts. It was the one place where I felt like I fit in. And then ages 12 to 15, I grew about 10 inches, so I'm 6 feet tall now. Once I got that tall, I no longer felt like I fit in. I kind of felt the opposite. I felt like I didn't belong in this one place where my one safe space now became a place where I felt my most insecure. It was around that time as well that I wasn't enjoying it as much because my perfection and the self-deprecating thoughts took the joy out of it for me. And it just became this place where I was never good enough. It was never enough. I could never work hard enough. Nothing was enough in that world to me. It was just my mindset that ruined it for me. Flashback forward, I ended up going to the University of Oklahoma. They actually have one of the like top 3 ballet departments, I think, in the country, which no one would expect that. But I went for a summer term and then a fall semester. And while I was there, I got scouted by modeling agencies, and I knew the second I got to college that the college life was not for me. I think I knew before I went to college that it wasn't for me. So I got scouted by modeling agency and got signed in New York. And I was like, okay, stay in Oklahoma for 4 years or move to New York City and start a modeling career. Yeah, I left college and moved straight to New York. I left college in December, went straight to New York in January. But the start of my modeling career was not the end of ballet for me because I was so attached to it, and it was such a big part of my identity and who I felt like I was I did not feel like I was good enough if I didn't have that. I thought it was something that made me special, something that made me unique, something that people looked up to me for, something that people liked about me. I thought it gave me more purpose. I was taking ballet in New York like almost every day because I didn't want to lose it. I was absolutely terrified of losing my strength, my technique. I mean, when you grow up as a ballet dancer, they drill all of these things into your mind. Like, I remember my teacher telling me, it takes 3 days to get out of shape and 3 weeks to get back into shape. Like, that was just drilled into my mind at probably like 8 years old, like such a young age. So I've been absolutely terrified my whole life of taking longer than 3 days off. So it's like, I just clung on to it. And when I was modeling, ballet kind of turned back into a safe space for me. I started traveling internationally, and this is when it became, I don't think I would have survived those international modeling trips without the little ballet homes that I found. It saved me. It really did. It was the one place when I was traveling that I felt like I had community. I remember telling my agent, like, I'm not going anywhere if I can't find a ballet studio there. That's how attached I was to it. After I decided to stop modeling, I moved back home, and then COVID happened. I would force myself to do 2 hours of ballet class in my garage 6 days a week for no good reason. I remember my mom asking me, she was like, why are you doing that? Why are you spending 2 hours in the garage every day if you don't even want a professional career in this? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely could not give you an answer. I just couldn't let it go. Here I am, the end of 2021. It is something I am still working through. I am still talking about it in therapy almost every time. I still cry about it. I've kind of like slowly weaned myself off of it. That was just the best way for me to kind of cope with it, was just to slowly wean myself off of it. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And currently, it's really hard for me to say this, but I haven't taken a class in over a month now, which is the longest I've ever been in my life without a class, like, genuinely. All of that to say, it's been incredibly hard for me. It's hard for me to accept. It's hard for me to look back at pictures of myself. It's hard for me to wonder what could have been had I not stopped. It's hard for me to think about that. It's hard for me to think about my younger self having these dreams of dancing professionally and me not giving that to her. It's hard for me to think about all of the blood, sweat, and tears that I put into it and not really having a professional career. It's hard for me to think about disappointing all the teachers that I've had. It's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hard. It's been one of the hardest parts of healing for me. But I'm working through it, and I'm going to be okay. And I think about where I was last year with it, where I was still waking up at 4 a.m. before work just to squeeze in a ballet class, and thank God I'm not there anymore. I've come a long way from there. I know with time it'll get better and I will heal more and it'll all be okay. If you're a dancer, or I know even athletes go through this, you're not alone. I know how hard it is to stop and to feel like you're losing that part of you, but just keep taking it day by day. Go to therapy. I highly suggest therapy. And you'll be okay. That was a very long answer, I'm sorry, but yeah. Oh, I love this question. Okay, what is your favorite holiday tradition? And we always get a real tree, so I love that. That's definitely one of my favorite parts of like the holidays, is just like having a real tree in the house and like smelling it. I also this year got my own real cute little tree, which I love. I don't know, I just love everything about the holidays. It's hard for me to like pick one thing. I love spending time with my family. I love going to the Christmas Eve service at my church. Like I love everything about Christmas. I can't pick one thing. That is so hard. The cookies are a very good part of it. Okay, next question. What was your motivation in recovery? Tips on dealing with anxiety/fears over food and gaining weight. What was my motivation in recovery? I had a lot of motivations in recovery. One big one was honestly just getting my period back. because I cannot wait to have a family and to have kids. Like, I cannot wait. I joke that I've had to go through a second puberty, and I feel like this second puberty in my 20s has just given me really a severe case of baby fever. I just can't wait to be pregnant and to just have a family, like the whole thing. I'm just so excited for it. So that was a big motivation for me. And another motivation was just getting my life back. I just wanted my body to feel safe and to feel in balance and to be healthy. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to enjoy my life. Freddie's saying hi. He's huge. He's 6 months old. I've always had this mindset where I was thinking about my future self and what my future self would be proud of. And I was just terrified to get to the end of my life and look back and regret spending so much time entrenched in an eating disorder. And so one of the biggest motivations for me, honestly, was just thinking about myself at 80 years old, or even at 50 or 40 or even 30, even 10 years from now, and looking back and seeing so much time that I spent not fulfilling my purpose, not feeling fulfilled, feeling anxious and entrenched in an eating disorder. That terrified me. So I just always came back to that. When I was struggling, I came back to, what is my future self going to be proud of? It's scary. Gaining weight is terrifying. I know how scary it is. My biggest tip for that is just to take it one day at a time. And you have to focus on, when you're on this journey and when your body is changing, I know how terrifying it is. I know how uncomfortable it is. But something that really helped me was turning to body gratitude. I talk about this all the time, but it was something that helped me so much. So like, if you are feeling insecure about your thighs, and you look at them in the mirror and you hear the thoughts of like, oh my gosh, your thighs look disgusting. They're so big. They're getting so big, blah, blah, blah. Hear those thoughts and you're like, okay, maybe I feel that way. But, add the but, I'm so grateful that my legs allow me to walk, to run, to move, to dance, and to live my life. It's such a blessing to have working legs that carry me throughout my life. And leave it at that. You're not trying to get rid of that eating disorder thought, because that can be quite impossible sometimes. You're just adding in some gratitude. And that is so helpful. Instead of thinking about everything that you need to get rid of, just thinking about adding things in. Adding things in that are going to help you feel better. Adding things in that are going to help your mindset. I found that so, so helpful. Tips on dealing with fear foods. So fear foods, you got to eat them. It's never going to feel easy. You just have to feel the fear and do it anyway with fear foods. And you just have to eat them and continue challenging those fears until they no longer feel scary. The beautiful thing about our brains is that they can be rewired, and you can normalize these foods. You just have to keep exposing yourself to them and keep eating them. Something else that is extremely helpful is to eat them in a positive environment. Eat them with your friends, eat them with your family, so you can associate these foods with happy memories. That's so helpful. Someone said, why does your hair fall out when you undereat? That is because when your body is not getting enough nourishment, it starts to shut off these functions that you don't need to survive. It's just a result of your body not having enough energy that it needs to function properly and for everything in your body to function, so it shuts off the things that you don't need to survive. Someone said, getting started with the whole weight gain journey, it's hard to not revert to old restrictions. 1000%. It's so hard. When you feel your body gaining weight, like, it's so incredibly hard to not turn back to restriction. But in this situation, you have to tell yourself, okay, are those restrictions going to do anything good for me? Gaining weight is going to have to happen eventually if you want to live a healthy, happy life. So why not just get it over with now? You know, reverting back to old restrictions is not going to get you closer to the freedom that you're hoping for. And you get a temporary high from restriction, right? It's just this temporary little thing that makes you feel good for a little bit before it tears you back down and you are entrenched in your eating disorder. And when you engage in that restriction, you get that eating disorder cognition a little boost, and you feed that eating disorder, which is going to result in a longer recovery. So just keep reminding yourself that, like, you don't want to make this process any longer. So you might as well just keep moving forward. And I know it's scary. I know it's so uncomfortable, but I promise it gets so much better with time. You just have to hang in there. Keep doing things that make you feel good. Do lots of self-care in the midst of this time. Try to distract yourself. Wear comfy clothes. Like, do what you need to do to get through this time. And just remind yourself that it will pass. Something that I always came back to in my recovery journey was telling myself, okay, the pain of recovery is temporary and it leads to a lifetime of freedom. But the pain of staying in my eating disorder would be forever. So you get to choose which path you want to take. Next question, someone said, can you post what I eat in a day? Absolutely not. Not to be blunt, but no, I do not believe in what I eat in a day. Of course, some of them can be inspiring sometimes, but they still at the end of the day lead to comparison. And I feel like you can find that inspiration from other places and you need to find it within yourself. So you will never catch me posting what I eat in a day. I know so many people have the best intentions with them, but I just don't even want a chance triggering someone or leading someone else to compare what they ate to what I eat. I just don't want to run that risk. So that's why I don't post them, and I never will. And some people say they post them for recipe inspiration, but I post recipes on my Instagram almost every single day. So there's enough recipe inspiration right there. Yeah, so next question. How did you start modeling? I signed with an agency in Oklahoma when I was going to college, and that agent was good friends with my mother agent, and a mother agent is kind of like your manager. She's the one that gets you contracts with all the other agencies around the world and in the country. So yeah, the agent in Oklahoma connected me with my mother agent, and then my mother agent just kind of placed me all over the world. So that's how I started. Next question. Oh my gosh, this is already 50 minutes long. I'm gonna hate myself when I'm editing this. Lots of people asking about getting your period back. I have a whole video on that. Go check that video out right now. Yeah, have a whole video on that. Okay, someone said, how to make enough money with coaching. I want to become one, but I'm really scared. It's scary. It's terrifying. But you just have to, again, feel the fear and do it anyway. That's kind of my motto with a lot of things in my life. I was terrified to become a coach. The thing about starting your own business and becoming a coach, it takes so much time. So remind yourself that, like, it's gonna take time. I've had to work a part-time job ever since I started. I started my business last September, and I've had a part-time job ever since. The hardest part for me is promoting myself, right? So if you're great at promoting yourself, you're gonna do just fine. But I'm so bad at promoting myself, but I'm getting better with it with time. But you just have to remind yourself that it's gonna be slow, most likely, starting out. Promote yourself, get your name out there, make business cards. That's something that has been so helpful for me. I made business cards and I put them in like local coffee shops, restaurants, wherever people have business cards out. I'll give them to people, like, make business cards. They're super helpful. I mean, definitely social media can be very helpful. Yeah, you just have to go for it. You're never gonna feel ready. It's scary, but you learn so much along the way. You just have to be patient. You have to be kind to yourself. And you just have to keep, like, experimenting and learning from it. You have to be okay to fail and to mess up so you can learn from those mistakes and grow your business into what you're dreaming of. If it's something you really want, the sooner you go for it, the better, because it does take time to build it up. But it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. I wouldn't take it back for the world. So just go for it, girl. Go for it. Someone said, how to avoid relapse during recovery. I've talked about this before, I think, but I don't like the word relapse. I don't like the word relapse. I know people use the word lapse a lot too. I don't like those labels. I think they're unnecessary labels, and I think the word relapse has so much shame and guilt attached to it that can honestly just spiral people deeper. So I never once used those words to define a slip up in my journey, and I don't think they're helpful. So if you're wondering how to avoid relapse during recovery, I would suggest you not asking yourself that question. Don't ask yourself how to avoid relapse. Ask yourself, what is the next right step? What is the step that I can take today that's going to get me closer to the person I want to become. If you mess up, that's fine. It's to be expected. Nobody has a perfect recovery. Recovery is not linear. No one's recovery is perfect. You're going to slip up, you're going to mess up, but it's what you do at those times that matter. And those slip-ups, honestly, make your recovery so much stronger because you learn from them and you grow from them. So I would suggest just stop even thinking about the word relapse and just start asking, how can I care for myself today? How can I get myself closer to that person that I want to become? What is the next right step that I can take? So yeah, just focus on healing, and definitely make sure you have support. Support is incredibly helpful when you are struggling in your recovery. Whether that's a therapist, a dietitian, both, treatment team, your parents, a friend, just someone that you can confide in and talk to when you're struggling. Do not keep those struggles internal. Anytime you're struggling in recovery, do not keep that internalized. The more you can get that out and talk to someone about it, the better it's going to be for you. So make sure that you have support. That's so helpful to keep your recovery strong and to keep you moving forward. I'm only going to answer one more because this video is going to be very long. Someone said tips to focus on your body less in recovery. I love this question. I have a couple tips for you. First tip is to get in touch with your values. Values work has been so incredibly helpful for me on my journey. So look on Google for like a list of common values in life and go through that list and pick out like 5 to 10 of your most important values in your life. What do you value most? For me, it's my faith. It's my family. It's my friends. Giving to others. It is adventure. It is fulfillment. Figure out what your values are. Make a list of them. And then just keep asking yourself, okay, how is recovery getting me closer to these values? What am I doing today to get closer to these values and to live a life that aligns with these values? Shift the focus off of your body and onto your life. Try out new hobbies. Try out new creative, fun activities. Start painting, go rollerblading, go bike riding, go kayaking, do puzzles. Like, try out new, fun, creative, adventurous activities that get you out of your head and into life. Another thing is finding clothes that make you feel good. That's a very big one. Focusing on gratitude. Gratitude is a life changer. So instead of focusing on what your body looks like, focus on how grateful you are for everything that it does for you and everything that it allows you to do. That's super helpful. But honestly, just the biggest thing is finding your passions and getting back in touch with those passions and doing what you love, filling up your soul, doing lots of self-care, doing lots of things that fill up your soul and make you feel good. That is going to be the biggest thing, is just getting in touch with that and finding purpose and fulfillment and passion in your life again. And that can be very scary. It can be very hard when you're unsure and when you're confused, but you just got to take it one step at a time, have fun with it, and yeah, just find the beauty in life again, because there's so much more to life than our bodies. And when you can find that connection, it's life-changing. So spend time with people too. Spend time with friends, loved ones. Spending time with people is really helpful to help get you out of your head and into the real world. So, okay, that is all I have time for today. I have been filming for an hour now. I hope this video is not super long, and if it is, I'm sorry, but they're not all going to be this long because I would not be able to edit this many videos in this little time if they were all this long. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it comforting. I hope you found some peace from it. And I hope you ate a treat with me. I hope you went and got a snack or something. Preferably like a Christmas cookie or something, but if not, that's fine. I hope it brought you some peace, and I want you guys to know that I am rooting for you. I'm cheering you on. I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so excited to do this little Christmas series with you guys. It's just gonna be 12 days of random videos, some day in my life, some just a lot of fun stuff. If you watched this whole video, I loved you. If you didn't watch this whole video, I still love you too, even though you probably won't know that because you won't hear this because you didn't watch the whole video. But I'm so grateful for you guys, and I cannot say that enough. And that's all I gotta say. I hope you have a beautiful evening, a beautiful day, a beautiful night, whatever time of the day it is when you're watching this. I hope you are feeling a little bit at peace. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow in my next video. Bye, guys.